Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger and my friends. Today we're talking Alex in Street Fighter 6 because we got a very fun, interesting look at some behind the scenes motion capture of Alex, courtesy of Kenny Omega, and a very illuminating interview with Kenny done by IGN's Mitchell Saltzman, which if you want to watch that interview in full, I will have that linked for you in the video description below. Among a bunch of interesting anecdotes about just the process of motion capture, Kenny also let it known how far ahead Alex was actually decided on as a playable character, and it's probably way further back than you think. But first, just allow me to gush a few things about Alex here. If you've followed any amount of this coverage so far, you know I'm kind of a wrestling guy, right? And just the attention to detail that he's getting is just really next level. It's a lot more than how fighting game wrestlers are. You know, they'll do some moves every now and then, but it's one thing to just do the moves. It's another thing for the character to live like a wrestler, especially now that Alex is a bad guy. And like this right here perfectly encapsulates it. The test of strength fake out. The test of strength to start off a match is like a time-honored tradition in wrestling, you know, just two guys wrapping their knuckles together. See who's stronger. And the good guy always wins unless the bad guy is smarter and, say, cheats right at the beginning of it. But even smarter yet is when you're threatening to do the test of strength, right? No, I'm not even going to play your game. I'm too smart for that. That's some classic heel work, some classic bad guy 101. And what's got me fascinated about Alex in Street Fighter 6 isn't just that he's a heel, it's that they revel in it. Like, they're doing so many just little microcosms of being a bad guy in wrestling, and it's all translating to the game. And it's not necessarily even gameplay, but like, Alex does the walk-in. Everyone does their walk-in, right? And you, the viewer, as the camera, he threatens as the bad guy to smack you one for looking at him. Which again, classic bad guy stuff. You want to make the fans scared of you. You have to rile them up, do bad guy things. Although, don't actually hit them unless you're stupid like Pepsi Phil. But just a great lean in to the bad guy experience. I really, really like that. But just all this because, as we learned in the IGN interview, Kenny had a lot of leeway in how to do everything. There was not necessarily a hard script for him to follow, so they definitely got the right man for the job. But about that interview, there was some very interesting little tidbits dropped, not the least of which is how far back Alex and Season 3 were planned. In the interview, Kenny Omega says he was approached for the idea of, maybe doing something for Street Fighter 6 at the 2023 Tokyo Game Show. So for reference, that would have been later in September, so Street Fighter 6 was only out for a few months at the point. Brand spanking new game. And Kenny was approached to do work for Season 3. Keep in mind, at this point, the second Season 1 character, Aki, wasn't even out yet. And they're asking him to do work for Season 3. And in Kenny's own words, he was saying that he would really like if Alex could be a character, and he basically got the confirmation right then and there that, yeah, Alex was already decided on at that point, and then signed the NDAs, got to work, all that kind of stuff. But it just goes to show how far in advance this stuff is planned out. So the Season 3 roster was planned out in full before the Season 1 roster had anything past its first character out. And to be frank, assuredly was probably decided in full before the game even came out to begin with. A lot of people wonder, how do characters get decided? Is it, fan interest, this, that, and the other? And I'm not going to say it never is, but the way this industry works is this stuff is decided well in advance. Like, now that we're in Season 3 and we're heading into Season 4, I'm very sure Season 5 is probably decided already. Like, forget Season 4, the first character's probably already done, and the rest are in various stages of completion. But yeah, the industry works well in advance in planning things out. They don't just read Twitter, oh, I guess they want Ingrid. They definitely didn't read that on Twitter, because that was definitely decided well in advance. But yeah, so it's just nice, we always suspect these kind of things, but from Kenny's mouth that yeah, this stuff is decided well in advance. So Season 4 being the season of Hakan was decided years ago. Some of the other things that were very interesting was about the mocap session itself. So apparently Kenny did all of his work in one day, a very long day, about 10 hours, but one day. And no, he did not do every single move for Alex, like he didn't do some of the light attacks, but he basically did every big move for the character. And he did share a pretty amusing story that, many of the motion capture moves have to be taken multiple times, right? And basically by the end of the day, his motion capture partner, Michael Nakazawa, kind of knocked a bit loopy by taking one-winged angel too many to apparently a very stiff mat. To the point where they had to call in somebody else to help take the move, which was apparently a contortionist, and Kenny effectively just murdered them with the move, and apparently that's the take they used for the game, so good stuff. And the one last thing I want to bring up that Kenny specifically brought up, because I don't want to mention every little thing, check out the interview again in the video description, it's linked for you there. But I was a little disappointed, I'm not going to lie, it has nothing to do with the gameplay, but he's actually pretty happy Alex is a motion character now. Kenny Omega is part of the Charge Erasure crew. He was talking that when he played him in Street Fighter V, because Alex is legitimately Kenny's main, the Charge was an aspect of the character he did not like. Which to that I can only say, for shame, Kenny Omega. Charge is a beautiful thing. That said, though, he does redeem himself somewhat in that he is committed to maining Alex again in Street Fighter VI, and committed to being really good with him as well, although he says that might take a while, but he'll get there eventually. Another interesting thing that was shown, because it's not in the official trailers, in the IGN interview, we see his full level 3 super. Now keep in mind he has 4 versions as has been discussed before. He has the level 3, he has the critical art version, and both level 3 and critical art have a different animation apparently when they win the match. Now, even here, this plays into the heel part of Alex's persona. So he hits Ryu with the big chop and then gets him down into a leg lock. And Ryu is tapping out to the leg lock. And Alex is such a bad guy, he does not respect the tap out. The match is over, but he still has to get his stuff in. And then he hits him with a giant reverse power slam / Tour of the Islands. It's not the flashiest level 3 to be honest with you, but it's good for the character anyways. And again, it's going to have 4 variations, so we'll have to see how that all sort of plays out in total. But yeah, just some fun Alex tidbits. I know Alex is heavily anticipated. He's really cool, and also he comes with that balance patch. We don't know the full scope of it other than apparently every character is getting changes, so it's got to be something, right? Right? Hopefully? Yeah? We'll see, I guess. Rest assured, I'll have it covered in great detail on the channel come the time. Alex will be out March 17th, so it's not too far away. I also believe that's the day Tekken 8 Season 3 begins, so it's going to be a pretty busy day for fighting game fans. And that said, my friends, that's the news for the moment. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Street Fighter.